I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, so how do I appoint the secretary? Because George Fevet is not here tonight and he is our board secretary, I need a nomination for secretary
Pro tem?
pro tem.
I
like-
nominate Joel.
I'd like to nominate Sonali because I already told Sonali that it was going to be her.
I'll remember that.
Be nice, guys.
So I nominate Sonali as our secretary pro tem.
Take a.
All in favor.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right. Sonali.
Thanks, Sonali.
Secretary pro tem.
Yes. May I get a roll call?
Yes. Here.
George Pimmett, Vicky Hilander-Heiser, Sonali Patil, here. Robin Cleek, Matt Jacobs,
Here.
Wes Bolin.
Here. All right. Anyone wish to public comment? Give a public comment? Come on up.
Julie Simpson, 21 Monterey Drive, Vernon Hills. I'll start tonight just by thanking the board for everything that they do. You don't get many thank yous, and you deserve a lot of them. So I'm here today to encourage you and tell you that you have the support of myself and a lot of community members if you choose to, I don't want to say stand up to the village because we don't know exactly what they've decided yet, but stand up against TIP financing. It's detrimental to our schools, it's detrimental to our library. There's a lot of losers in the community on this. We're not an undesirable community. TIFs are great for undesirable communities who nobody's going to come here for. I think people want to be here. And I think that they're not, on the seat of their pants waiting to get out. They've made a substantial investment already, or currently to make investments. Centennial's here to make a profit, and we want them to be profitable. But there has to be some middle ground. We had a community meeting, about 30 people showed up. We came up with a mission that was, we were very excited to have Centennial here. We want them here. We want new development, but it can't be at a cost to all the stakeholders. It has to be a partnership where it's profitable for everyone. There was only one person there who, I don't really know where they stood in the beginning, but they seemed to be on board at the end, and all the other representatives, or everybody else there was supportive. We started a Facebook group that has over 400, or almost 400 people. So the community's here, we're behind you. Anything we can do, let us know, and we're hoping you make the decision to stand up and fight. Thank you.
Thanks, Julie.
Thanks, Julie.
Hi, everyone.
Hello.
Kim?
Kim McCall. I wanted to come tonight. I know you guys all know it's been a kind of a rougher school year for me this year, and I wanted to reiterate my the thank you, the gratitude I have for you all for thanking or supporting me through this very difficult year. But there is one person tonight that I wanted to highlight who had to endure a lot of emails and phone calls from me and all my panic mode. So when I was talking to Joel a few weeks ago about what I wanted to say tonight, I was saying I feel like in life when you meet people, you can kind of put them in three buckets. You meet people that you like, put them in a bucket. You meet people that you don't like, and you probably put them in a bucket maybe with a hole in it so they fall through. And then you have the people that you meet, you like, and you really have a deep respect for. And that's the bucket I put Dr. Friedman in. I can't say enough for the support you've given, for making me feel like it's okay to advocate for my children and to feel good about it and not to be scared. And stick up for her of what's right. So I don't know if you understand how much that meant to me this past year. So I was hoping that my little future Sun Devil would be here to give this to you, but she's a little tired from day one of no school and being at the park and all day, and I hope she's in bed asleep. So from another Sun Devil to you, Dr. Friedman and Sun Devil, I wanted to give you a little gift to say thank you.
Thank you, Kim. Thank you. Just as an aside, for those who don't know what that meant, Sun Devils are Arizona State University graduates, and there are probably only 2 of us anywhere in Vernon Hills, Buffalo Grove area. But thank you so much, Kim. It's been a pleasure getting to know and work with you, and we wish you the best for the future, and we'll always be around and have your back.
I'll always be here.
You do have young kids. Yeah.
Anyone else wish to comment? No? Okay, moving on. Recognition.
On.
Sorry.
I know.
Sorry.
No, I apologize. It was not a planned out to be here, but I thought, you know what, I want to make sure to support the fact that I also was at the community meeting last week. And just to say thank you, because I know there are board members there, so I know there is interest, people are paying attention. And I also know you probably hear very commonly from the same group of people, even though there's a lot of us like checking the same Facebook feeds, like interested, talking to each other. So since I was here tonight, I just wanted to say that, to read what Julie was saying earlier, that I really wanted to support the board in whatever you need to make sure that as a community, we're working with the village. From what I know now, being in the district for 2 years, that has been difficult potentially in past years. So whatever community support you need, whatever, and I hope we can make that happen. I also just wanted to make a comment that I'm really doing my best to educate myself about teachers' contracts, those type of things. I know those are coming forth, and being an educator myself, I wanted to say that whatever I can do to say that this is fantastic staff for this district. And we've had the best experience over these 2 years because of the educators, and those are the people. I mean, we can build the best buildings, but the people in it are what makes it work. So I also just wanted to add that whatever we can do to make sure that we have fair and equitable salaries for them and everything they need, I would just highly support that, because you can't make anything work without them. So, thank you.
Thanks.
Hi, I'll keep it quick. I'm Katie Sultan, and I just wanted to reiterate what Julie and Jen said too, that we thank you for all you do, and we did start the Facebook group page after attending the community meeting, which was great to all get on the same page and talk through what TIF means to everybody and what it could potentially mean if applied to the Hawthorne rebuilding. So just wanted to say that I hope to see a lot of faces at the June 18th meeting that Centennial is having with the village board, and for all of us to kind of work together to come up with the best plans for the future of Hawthorne Mall, and in conjunction with benefiting our schools and not being a detriment to the schools. So, thank you.
Thanks.
All right. Okay. Safe to move on? All right. Recognition.
I think we'll call Karen. Did you leave? Karen, are you still here? This is actually the formal point on the board agenda where we will welcome our soon-to-be tenured people. One quick note, we have to remind everyone, you become tenured on the first day of service in the new school year. So you got to have a safe and good summer. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, do all the right things, because we've gone on a limb for you already. I think, yes, we are, yes. So this is just the formal point where the Board of Education recognizes your service. And just an aside, Joe and I were talking earlier, the attrition rate for teachers in their first 5 years is somewhere in the neighborhood in the country of about 50%. And we're looking at, from what we heard, somewhere in the neighborhood of 80 to 90%.
That's excellent.
That is just amazing. So to see all your great faces and to see, how much you've put into it to reach this point, it sets Hawthorne District 73 apart from everywhere else to see all of you reach at this point your upcoming tenure status. So this is is there anything formal that you'd like to say?
I would just like to thank all of you for your hard work for these last 4 years, all of your positive energy and just your learning and growing and just building that community. So if all 47 of you, if you're not already standing, if you could just stand up so we can formally recognize you.
One more round of applause.
We really appreciate all of you, and we are going to take a quick photo out in front after.
And you are free to go.
Thank you for coming tonight. You know you're already.
But if you want to stay for the whole agenda,
Yeah,
we're
you're
okay with
welcome.
that too. We like a crowd.
It's gonna go down to like 4 people. The administrators, even they'll leave.
Did you win?
No,
We're still going on, and I don't think we're going
we
to.
were ready for it.
It's John gets picture for now. Oh my God, that was long.
You could do it now. And carry the whole 8 minutes. I don't think this is benefit. This is a summary of your meeting that you and
I think we've moved on to more positive grounds. I don't want to go back.
I think that's something that she should read. If it's necessary. Yeah.
What happened?
Everybody left.
Yeah.
Where'd everybody go? Okay, so I'm gonna give the president's report, later. So we're gonna go on to, superintendent's report. Dr. Friedman, or?
We really don't have much. One thing though, and Dr. Hannigan, you've been put on the spot, as well as Dr. Porto and myself, by students at Elementary North. We got a letter from them, and unfortunately, due to our schedules, in the fact that we were never here on the same day, saying that there is a nasty rumor going around that we might be considering year-round school. Well, I never considered it. Did you, Joe?
I never came across my mind.
Yeah, and I don't know about you, Dr. Hannigan. Have you thought about that?
We're putting an end to the rumor.
We are dispelling officially this rumor that floated around Elementary North that we're going to be considering year-round school. That could be down the road, but what great imagination. Or it must have had some way or shape or form that it started, but we really didn't know too much about it. So for any students that were involved, this was Miss Munch's class, Miss Stern's class, Mrs. Kaiser's class, Mrs. Swinney's class, and Mrs. Herr's class. Were any of them there?
Third grade had a persuasive writing. Argumentative.
Okay.
Supportive, like.
That's funny.
Well, you never know what'll happen down the
They
road.
will be happy to see that their audience received it.
The next thing on the superintendent's report is, on July 2nd, you may have heard a little bit about it, there will be a meeting with our architects to, again, continue discussions regarding the improvements that will be made at Middle School North, and then to actually begin soon starting to talk about Middle School South. So that's July 2nd. It's the next school year officially after July 1st. So become Dr. Hannigan's issue. Joe and I are not in on this one. Bye-bye. And the next item is one that we want to have the board address, and Abe and I had met with Lake County Partners. Lake County Partners is an organization made up of business folks from some of the largest companies and corporations in Lake County. They've pooled resources in order to attract other businesses to Lake County. So the bottom line to this is there's a parcel available in the Continental Corporate Park that a pharmaceutical company has expressed interest in building a facility. So it's not Sterigenics, I promise you that. It is not. So we met with them a couple times, and they are talking about a proposal. I'm going to turn it over to Abe in about a second, and he'll give you a little bit of an overview. And it's something that probably will not benefit our district much. However, we do have to listen. So, Abe?
Thank you, Dr. Friedman. So essentially, Board of Education, they requested an abatement of their property taxes to incentivize them choosing this location. Again, the location is on Lakeview Parkway, just west of CDW, if you can visualize that. Based upon the calculations, without an abatement, if they built this facility, this district would get about $211,000 a year in new construction revenue. They have requested for us to consider abating that at 75%, which, so out of the 211, we would lose $158,000, leaving us with $52,000 a year if we agree to this abatement. Their position was that this is better than no revenue at all, because currently it is not developed, and that they have other sites under consideration. Our concerns included the aspect of this being precedent setting. Everyone else within our taxing boundary, all other commercial properties, industries, they pay their fair share of property taxes. Would this be precedent setting if we make an exception for one firm? That is our largest and greatest concern. Notwithstanding, are they already serious about this site, and are they going to build it anyways? There's always that dynamic out there. Out of the 16 other taxing entities on a property tax bill, only us and District 128 were approached. That was the second element of concern for us. And the third and final concern that hasn't been directly addressed is that there are no guarantees that they would not appeal their assessed value down the road or even in the near term to even further reduce that revenue. So these were all of our major concerns. If there is any interest with the board, please let us know if you would like for us to pursue this further at this point.
I had a question. Have we been in touch with Mr. Dan at 128 and Dr. Prentice to
Yes.
know what
Yes.
do they hold the same view as us? Is my question.
It's my understanding they're leaning towards that decision. No official response has yet been communicated from 128.
Okay.
Our concern when we talk to these folks, and they are looking at multiple sites, and one in Wisconsin using the across the border lower taxes argument, one in the Gurnee area, us, and they might have had another site, but I think they've backed off on that. So this is, again, who's going to give us the best deal? I get it. They're in business to make money and come away as cheaply as possible in building this facility. But I'd echo similar kind of a concern that Julie expressed earlier in her audience to visitors comment. These things, once we lose it, we lose it. and we don't have any opportunity down the road to get somebody else in who would develop it with no preconceptual notions and preconceived notions. And so it's a tough spot to be in because, yes, something's better than nothing, but do we have a crystal ball to say what down the road could come into that site?
So I had a question. What is their, since you guys probably know the company, it's a pharmaceutical company, what's their revenue?
It's exceptionally high. Don't have the number on there.
I think it was 126 million.
No.
It's exceptionally high. And just, just to reiterate that, the exceptions that are made to commercial properties, whether it be a TIF or through an abatement, the greater the burden is for residents, the resident taxpayers as a whole. So that is those are our concerns, our recommendation for that matter.
They are willing to come and address the board. We've been on the other end of that address, and they're good. And they are out to, there's a real estate company that works for this pharmaceutical corporation. We don't want to say their name in public, but if you want, we have that and can share it with you.
No,
It's a family-owned business,
that's fine.
so it's not an international company who can move the business from place to place. Once they build, they stay. However, we don't find ourselves in this position too often. Most of the time, things are done and we find out afterwards. So we're on the front end here. They approached us the right way. The question is, do we want to continue? Abe and Pete would continue this, in July as you have further discussions if you want that. Or if not, we can say at this point, we're not really interested in that kind of a deal.
It definitely would be, as you said, a precedent setting because, if we do something for them, we do have the $200 million mall going up. So they are going to ask for some kickbacks.
Absolutely.
There.
Timing
it's
is not
it just keeps rolling from one place to another.
Mark, Joe, Abe, do you have a recommendation?
Right now,
Yes.
we don't think this is. any
Don't move
advantage to
forward
us.
with it.
Okay,
They can always come back.
that's all I need to hear, thank you.
We just wanted you to be in the loop here because this may start getting press soon as they push in the 3 different communities.
Middle North update? Okay. Just to extrapolate further with the Middle North project, we have Mr. Ted Hogg here. Ted, hello, good evening. He is the principal architect. The goal being to go out to bid by January 2020. It's a very tight schedule. We want to open for fall of 2021 with these additions. We had a very successful meeting on May 29th. That was our first focus group meeting with staff, administration, board, and community members. Leggett and us as owners have toured the existing building. We've met with LAMP to review the scope and budget. We have already met with Countryside Fire Department to review code concerns as well. And a meeting has been set up with the ROE, the Regional Office of Education, to review the project. And to remind folks that we have a scheduled community collaborative design session for July 2nd. Now, you as board members will have opportunities to provide input and feedback. That will be at the following milestones. On August 22nd, at that August meeting, we will, Leggett will present the pre-design schematic plans for your review and feedback. On October 17th, we will present design development drawings. And finally, construction documents to be presented in December 19th. Are there any questions about that?
Were you gonna do an update on the construction, or is that?
Sure, I can do an update on that. So a detailed
sorry.
construction update was sent out May 20th to the board, an update. Since then, there has been quite a bit of activity on site.
This is for the young learners.
Yes.
The young learners.
School for Young Learners, thank you. And so there's been quite a bit of activity on site. We're currently on track, under budget and on schedule, working through a few site issues, as you always will, whether it's soils or contaminants, but minor issues that we're currently assessing and that we've already allotted for through our contingencies. Any questions related to that?
2 words every board loves to hear: under budget and on time.
That's good.
Okay. All right, thank you. We're gonna adjourn.
Yes. Yeah. Adjourn.
Committee of the whole.
Is there any unfinished business?
I don't believe so.
New business? Announcements?
All right.
Just go to adjourn.
Okay. Now going to adjourn the committee of the whole.
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay.
Okay.
Now I need to call the regular meeting to order.
It's a roll call.
Sonali, may I get a roll call?
Joel Finfer.
Here, whatever.
George Phoebus.
He'll vote yes for anything over there.
Victoria Landerheiser. Sonali Patil here. Matt Jacobs.
Here.
Wes Poland.
Here.
Robin Cleek. 5 present, 2 absent.
All right. Is there anyone here who would like to give a public comment? Okay, moving on. Now we're going to go to the consent agenda. Or does Abe want to give his slides?
I think you might wait for that and the superintendent's report. You have the slides. You're done. You don't need-
Yeah, we just have the contract.
Okay. You can roll through.
Prepare for the consent agenda.
Board meeting minutes.
Okay.
Consent agenda.
Yes. We have for the consent agenda, we have the board meeting minutes. We have the treasurer's report. We have the personnel report. We have the approval of consent agenda items as presented.
Motion?
May I have,
make a comment about the consent agenda, please? One of the items on it relates to resignations. And although it seems kind of ironic to be discussing that tonight in light of the beautiful ceremony we just had for all these wonderful tenured teachers, I also need to share with you that I am a little concerned about the resignations, the timing of those resignations, and just a seeming, I guess, lack of really understanding about the movement in the district. One of the things I think that would be helpful, and I would like to just suggest as a possible goal for next year, we're building new buildings and putting new programs in place. I think it would be very helpful for us to be very conscious about teacher retention as well. I may be wrong, but I don't believe district administrators or building administrators have done exit interviews with the staff and faculty that are leaving. If we don't, it is definitely something we should be doing, and we should be using that information so we're not losing such a strong core of people.
We do, by the way, Lynn does exit interviews for all the resignations.
Can that information be shared with us? It would certainly be helpful.
I don't know, if it's personal or private. I don't know
Well,
what's.
it can be made, I mean, we can
Trends
protect
and such,
identity,
yes.
but we need to be looking at trends and reasons for this exodus.
As long as Vicky brought it up, I can't agree more. You can't get better if you're continuously searching and retraining.
I think timing is something we need to consider too. Getting our numbers ready earlier in the year, being in a better position to recruit earlier than we do. It's going to be a busy summer.
Okay.
We're pretty well covered. Okay. Motion for the
Okay.
consent.
I
Make
need
it-
to pull something out of the personnel agenda too.
Okay.
I know this goes towards planning and the whole thing, and the memo that was attached is not clear. This is for the middle north class size analysis as well as the documentation asking for 2.5 teachers more. I had sent in my questions, and I do want some more explanation towards that. I I do not have a problem to allow for the 2.5 teachers that they want to hire, because as we're already late and I don't want to lose the time between now and the next meeting but the explanation for that is not sufficient. I just need answers about those things, and I had sent those questions in before for the middle class size analysis and approval of the 2.5 teachers on that. Because the
So we
planning is
can-
not there.
We can pull that item and.
I mean,
You just, you
consent.
want more clarification?
Lynn-
Yes, I
Lynn
do
can
want
do
more
that.
Still
clarification.
approve, we need to move with the hires on that.
No, like I said, I'm not holding back the hires, but I
Okay.
do want to
She
bring
just
it to
wants
an
to
out.
pull
So,
it
so you would like
from
follow up
consent.
on it?
Yes.
But still you pull, or would you still allow us to vote on that?
No,
With,
I'll vote on that, but there is explanation that is missing from that memo, and I need that explanation. So
Okay,
I'm hoping
so
that we
need
can get
more
it next time.
information.
Okay,
we
so
can
as a
still vote on it.
follow-up item, Sonali? is
Yes,
that-
definitely,
Okay,
because I've had asked for staffing plan for times, and now this is getting into space concerns, which I have, and the memo is not clear to me. So I do want explanation for it by next meeting or in the middle sometime. I'd already sent the questions in.
okay. May I get a motion?
So moved.
May I get a second?
I'll second.
Okay. Motion by Joel, second by Vicky. Roll call, please.
Joel Finfer.
Aye.
Wes Poland.
Aye.
Matt Jacobs.
Aye.
Vicky Hylander-Heiser.
Aye.
Sonali Patil. Aye.
6 ayes, 0 nay. Motion passes. Moving on to the action items, the Hawthorne fee scale. Abe, is that,
No, we,
For action item tonight is the approval of the master agreement with Leggett Architects.
that's not on that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay.
This is the one that you
Yeah.
gave me at our meeting.
Just get a motion.
Here,
and
take
then
mine.
Open it
Okay.
up for discussion.
No, I have this one.
I have mine on the line too.
Okay. Going back, action items, the approval of master agreement with Leggett Architects.
We need a motion.
Ask for a motion and then discussion.
May I have a motion?
So moved.
I second.
Motion by Joel, seconded by Sonali. Discussion?
Take a vote.
No. Okay, roll call.
Wes Poland.
Aye.
Matt Jacobs.
Aye.
Joel Finfer.
Aye.
Vicky Hylander-Heiser.
Aye.
Sonali Patil. Aye.
6 ayes, 0 nay.
5
Motion
ayes.
passes. I'm sorry.
5, yeah. 5.
Okay. 5 ayes.
President's report.
President's report. Okay. Abe
Pretty much
covered the summary of the design team meeting, as well as the only other thing I have to mention is that the meeting on June 24th will be necessary, so please let Robin know if you cannot attend. So we will be having the meeting on June 24th.
Mm-hmm.
Soup's report.
No.
I had just two real quick
ahead.
announcements for the
Yeah.
board. Everyone's favorite topic, press and board policy. I just wanted to give you an update. We promised that we would streamline that process, and we've done that. We got off to a really good start. There's one more press packet that hasn't been processed yet, and Mark and I really wanted to take care of that for all of you guys before we left. So myself and Wes and Bobby will have our subcommittee meeting again. We will do press packet number 100, and we will have that for you by the June 24th meeting.
Yeah.
And we'll do it just like last time, where we'll make recommendations to the whole board, and we'll pull anything that requires further conversation. I should warn you, though, the legislature just finished their very aggressive session, and there's going to be probably a gigantic press packet 101. But Pete, that can be your little
Your
prize
legacy.
to do. But we will take care of packet 100. My other real quick announcement for the board, just to follow up. I wanted you to know that Net56, the company that's doing our tech assessment, overall comprehensive tech assessment, they're full-blown into it. They've surveyed all of the teachers electronically. They're meeting with subgroups of teachers and administrators, focus groups, and they've done a security run, and everything is now pretty much on schedule to be finished exactly when they said they would be, the end of June. So I think they will be ready, if it's okay with Pete, to be a presentation with recommendations at your July meeting. Okay, all is well there. Okay.
All right.
The latest numbers.
All right. Enrollments, we're currently at, this is as of May 31st of 2019, 4,479 students.
That puts us over Casarda B.
Does it?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
We jump back over Casarda B again.
Yeah.
Okay.
So after a little flatness
Flatness,
last
we
year,
went
now
back up.
back to being about.
So it's running to
And
trend.
this is pre-summer.
Yeah.
So this has been the trend. Okay.
Topics for future meetings, anyone?
Staffing plan?
Can I give a quick update on CEDAW?
Absolutely.
All right, this is really quick. We had a CEDAW meeting on June. Kim was there.
Kim, would you like to come give it too?
Yeah, governing board. So there were not a whole. It was the budget meeting, so very enlightening as usual. Tuition's going up 1%. They're looking at some other options on how to build back. I don't know if Abe's seen all this yet. Couple changes to the governing board, nothing significant. Jason Lind is now on the governing board for Milburn. I met the principal and the vice principal for Powers.
Yeah, and the incoming principal.
Yeah, so met them as well. That was about it. It wasn't.
Oh. Vicky and I last Saturday. Yes. Robin Schwartz had a board member orientation. That was pretty interesting. Vicky as a new member and me to brush up on things. We went, hiked up to Oak Park, and it was interesting. It was quick. They did it pretty well. We learned a few things, questions that we have, a couple of new things that we didn't know, and specifically, I mean, they touched all topics, but one of the ones that we would kind of have more discussions was tort immunities, and some of the FOIA specifications that they talked about. So it's stuff that we'll discuss as a board, or it's sent out. But it was interesting to have spent a Saturday morning there. So, but it was good. It was informative and definitely worth the trip. You want to add something?
I think that's good. All right.
German.
I make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. We are adjourned.
Good
You did it.
Nice. You're all done. Thank you.